Dirty Sports Podcast. I said, welcome to the Dirty Sports Podcast with Andy Ruther and Joe Prano. Welcome to the Dirty Sports Podcast.
Welcome to the Dirty Sports Podcast. I'm your host, Andy Ruther, coming to you live from Cincinnati, Ohio, with my co-host from Lake Tahoe, California, Joey No-Till Prano.
Hello, Andy.
Morning.
Technically, I think I'm in State Line, Nevada, but yeah, South Lake Tahoe, California, Nevada border, just on the Nevada side today. Was on the California side yesterday, snowboarding, Sierra at Tahoe. That was super fun. Watched the games in Nevada yesterday. Just back and forth. I'm just over here crossing the state lines, Andy.
Well, home of the Super Bowl, Nevada.
Home of the Super Bowl, Nevada. Home, jump over to the other side, home of one of the Super Bowl teams.
I'll tell you what. I was really rooting for the Lions. I know Lions fans are not going to think I'm saying the truth. I was really rooting for the Lions, and they came out on fire, and I said, holy shit, they're going to win this game.
Now, why were you rooting for the Lions?
Because, it is the underdog story, and at this point, I just embraced it. It's like...
You already lost the money. You already lost the thing. Now... How
they're fun to watch. Their offense.
No, there's no doubt about it. There's no doubt about it. And that was the thing the whole year. It's like, man, they have a lot of talent. They had a lot of talent last year, and they what did they go 9-8 last year? And everybody was like, yeah. Now, do you feel a little bit of a Ruther curse that essentially you knew they were a talented team, but you were unwilling to fully buy in because of Dan Campbell? Then Dan Campbell takes them to the NFC Championship game. You buy in, and then he full Dan Campbell's you. Was that weird? Was that Ruther curse?
Hold on. To me, it's not just Dan Campbell that I didn't buy into. We all know my stand.
And Detroit, and them being the Detroit Lions.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I take my thing is I refuse to buy in until you prove me wrong, whether you're the Lions, the Bengals, the Clippers, like the Browns, historically bad franchises. I'm not going to buy in because I know how these things play out.
If you had the same sort of drafts that the Lions had, the same sort of free agent decision, same sort of cap situation, same sort of talent, growth, and Jim Harbaugh had taken the Lions job 3 years ago, you would have been quicker to buy in.
100%.
If Bill Belichick was like, I love what's going on with the Detroit Lions roster, I want in, you would have been like, yes.
Yeah,
I mean,
for sure.
Don't pretend we haven't been critical of the fucking knee biter over here.
No, of course I've been completely critical. And like I said, I've been giving him kudos lately, saying he lets his defense, he lets Aaron Glenn do his thing. He lets Ben Johnson do the thing on offense, and he just plays his
focuses
role
on time management and fourth down decisions. And
what a debacle. And here's my thing. Now we're going to jump into that. And of course we have calls and the whole 9 yards. There's a difference between being aggressive and reckless. There really is. They've been aggressive all year, which at times I'm like, I don't know if I agree with that, but whatever. It seemed to work out more times than not in their favor. But yesterday, man, I literally said when I'm watching that game, when they don't go for the field goal to push their lead, I believe, to 24 to 10 to 27 to 10. I said, you're up 3 scores again.
Well, they did kick a field goal to go up 27 to 10 later, right? Wasn't it 27-10 at the half?
I think it was 24. No, it was 24 to 7 at the half.
Oh, okay. So it was a 17-point lead at the half. Right.
Niners come out, kick a field goal. It's
Right.
24-10.
Right.
They get the ball, and you're like, okay, how are the Lions going to handle this? They drive right down again. You're like, man, this offense is clicking.
That's right. Yeah, I was sitting with my buddy. It's like, you got to make it a 3-score game.
And that's exactly what I said. I go, okay. The Niners put up a few points, which obviously they wanted a touchdown there. They didn't get it. You go right back to being up 17. Right back. 3-score game. Nope. And then we see how that plays out. Don't get it. Literally 2 plays later, they get a touchdown. Suddenly, they're only up a touchdown with basically an entire quarter to go.
And then I understand his reasoning at the end, but dude, at some point, it was like I almost posted the GIF from Monty Python where it's like, at some point you got to stop the bleeding. It's like, it's just a flesh wound. You know what I mean? Like his fucking arms off. Like, dude, at some point you have a disastrous. You're in the midst of blowing the biggest lead in conference championship game. Like, can you kick a field goal to stop the bleeding? Can you just kick a field goal because, hey, points?
I know. Well, that was my thing again at the end. It's like, just kick the field goal, try to tie the game up. Anything can happen. This is one of those things where, once again, momentum is a thing. That stadium was so quiet. And if you could tell, there was a lot of Lions fans. There's a lot of blue in that stadium scattered throughout the stadium. Yeah. There was a lot of Lions fans there representing. If you kick that field goal, go back to the 24-10 score, and to go up 27-10, you're still keeping the fans out of it. Mentally, as a Niners player, you're like, by the way, I don't know if you know, they all talked about that. Did you see how many of the guys talked about that?
Niners players saying,
yeah,
of course.
Like, dude, everything changed when we stopped them.
Analytics don't consider momentum.
They all said how
just plain and simple.
Yeah, mentally, we stopped them. It just gave us a second wind. It's a shame. You know why it's a shame? It's so hard to make the Super Bowl. It's so hard. I think we see the Patriots and now we see the Chiefs, and people just assume you can do it. It's so hard to make the Super Bowl, and they were this close, literally this close. And it's a shame that he had to. It's, to me, I think ego plays a role in some of these decisions.
You know, let me just fans of the Dirty Sports Podcast know this, but if they need a reminder, I listened to it again last night. I said, I don't trust any teams in the NFC. This is in our NFL preview. I was like, it's boring, but I'm going Kansas City Chiefs over the San Francisco 49ers in the Super Bowl. I was like, the truth is, I don't trust any of these NFC teams for a reason. And the Chiefs are the Chiefs until they're not the Chiefs. And somebody, I don't want to name names, but he probably eats too many pork rolls, was like, oh, yeah, pick the 2 best teams. Cool story, bro. Actually, if you go to preseason win totals, the Philadelphia Eagles were the NFC favorite coming into the year. And there's a reason I didn't pick them, because it's hard to go back to the Super Bowl. It's hard to have repeated deep playoff success, no matter what team you are, unless you're, like you said, the Kansas City Chiefs or the New England Patriots. It doesn't matter who you are. If you were just in the Super Bowl, if you were just in a conference championship game, you're probably not going back. You're probably not going back. And I saw the flaws in the Eagles last year. I couldn't believe they made it all the way to the Super Bowl. They did. They lost. I said, no chance. No chance they're going back. 0% chance they're going back. And Dan Campbell said it after the game. He's like, it's going to be twice as hard to get back here. And that's true. And listen, we've been critical of Dan Campbell. And you can say, enough. They made the NFC Championship game. They were whatever. Okay, Dan Campbell doesn't coach the offense, doesn't call the plays on offense, doesn't call the plays on defense. He's a guy who's motivated your young and talented roster to the point where you could get to the NFC Championship game. Also, he blew a 17-point halftime lead. If Doc Rivers did the equivalent in the NBA this year, You guys would be like, I can't wait for the Joe Brown and Andy Ruther podcast tomorrow morning where they talk about how this guy's blowing another fucking lead. Let me just tell you something right now for the Dirty Sports listeners. Don't you think I don't know what I would have to deal with if the fucking New York Giants blew a 17-point fucking NFC Championship game lead? Don't think I wouldn't be here. Don't think it wouldn't be a fucking old-timey operator station when the fucking aliens landed, calls coming into the hotline. Brian Dable hot takes. The dude, I mean, you blew a 17-point halftime lead. It's bad. It's bad coaching. Plain and simple. 11-year-olds playing Madden do a better job than that. You blew a 17-point lead. It's not good.
Well, like I was alluding to, I think ego plays a role in this. I think he's just like, I've done it all year, man. I'm just going to go for it, man. That's my thing, man. That's my MO, man. Dude, take all that stuff out of it. Take the point. You're on the road.
Don't give a team with way more playoff experience playing at home with a ton of offensive weapons and a ton of confidence. Don't give them a crack of daylight.
No.
Don't give them opportunities. Don't give them these little things there. And when you do, come back. Like when they kick 3, you kick 3. Cool. You want to keep trading scores?
Yeah.
Let's keep trading scores.
I know. And obviously, I've been critical of Goff. I thought he played really well yesterday, and the receivers, especially Josh Reynolds, there's 2 of those drops. Like they did not help Goff out. I thought he made some nice throws, some nice third down throws, which again were dropped. I just, to me, the experience or lack thereof showed when it got down to crunch time. These guys just withered away. It sucks. They couldn't be stopped. You knew when they came right out and drove right down. You're like, okay. Both games, right? They hold Baltimore 3 and out. Kansas City drives right down, scores. Same thing here. I'm like, okay. Lions drive right down, score. I'm like, this could be a game. It sucks though, because it is. It's so hard to get there. You can't blow a 17-point lead. Like nothing is guaranteed. But it's like classic Lions, man. And the truth is, my mind started going ahead to the Super Bowl. I'm thinking Chiefs, Lions. I'm like, okay, Lions already beat them. That set the tone for their season. They win the opening Thursday night game on the road in Arrowhead. I like the line. I did. I would have liked the Lions' chances in a rematch.
Here's the thing, though, Andy, and I said it yesterday. I retweeted the tweet that I sent September 7th, 2023, in the middle of the Lions-Chief game that they won, and I was told, take your fucking shit sandwich and eat it. We just beat the defending champion Chiefs. I will repeat it right now. I think that this is the most important statement, the most truth-telling statement about the Lions. Either you guys think you're fucking good or you don't. If the Lions are supposed to be good, how come they play so goddamn desperate? If you can go toe-to-toe with any team in the NFL, the Niners, the Chiefs, whoever the fuck, the Cowboys, whoever you got to play, if you can go toe-to-toe with them, then how come you play so goddamn desperate?
They would call that aggressive, not desperate.
Okay.
I'm just saying that's how they would say it. They would say we're not desperate, we're aggressive.
Okay, when you go into a boxing match and you just start swinging at people, you're fighting desperate. Because you don't think you can guard, you don't think you can move, you don't think you can trade punches. You got to go, I'm going to fucking hit you as many times as I fucking possibly hit you. Because you don't want to get in the 3rd or 4th round. The Lions did it from day fucking 1 of the season. Fake punt. Go for fucking push it on fourth down. Go whatever. If you believe that you have a fucking chance to win a race, why are you fucking jumping the starting gun every time?
Dude, it's just like I said, it's a shame, man. I like legit felt bad for their fans last night. The fans I've ridiculed and I've mocked. I actually felt bad for them. I was like, this is just tough. And you got, a storied franchise heading back to another Super Bowl. A Niners defense that's looked pretty bad, in my opinion, the last 2 weeks.
Now let's talk about that, Andy. Let's talk about that because we haven't gotten into the other game yet. When you look at the team stats for both games, it's two wildly different stories. Okay? And we'll talk about the other game with the turnover ratio and the blah, 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 and the penalties and whatever. You go top to bottom, team stats, Lions, Niners, defenses. There's just 30 points. Both defenses giving up 30 points. When you go yards per play, when you go total offense, when you go penalties, penalty yards, turnovers, it's fucking even in this game. So why did one team win and one team lose?
Well, yeah, I'm pulling it up. They're pretty close in total yards. Damn, passing yards, they're within 2. Rushing yards, they're within 27 of each other. Lions had 5 more first downs. Both 6 of 12 for third down. Very similar number of total plays run. Similar number of drives. I mean, yeah, the stats pretty much line up. Penalties very similar. Well, it came down to coaching and
I'm not trying to kick
decisions.
Dan Campbell in kneecaps over and over and over again. But we said in both of these games, and we'll obviously break it down in the next game because it couldn't have come more true. Coach, quarterback,
Defense.
The defense in the Lions-Niners game showed up for nobody. Goff played pretty well, had a couple drops. Purdy played pretty well, had a couple big rushing first downs at the end of the game. It's probably ever so slightly edged because of those plays to seal the game, that maybe you give a slight edge to Purdy, but basically neither defense showed up. We're calling it a draw. Quarterbacks played better than that kind of everybody thought they would. We're calling it a draw.
Coaching. Shanahan.
Coaching, not Dan Campbell. That's really what it is. Like Shanahan.
Well, that's what it really was. It's not like Shanahan outcoached him. It's just he just didn't make bad decisions. Yeah, man. Again, to me, it all goes back. It just all goes back to that fourth down call when you're up fucking 24-10 already. Sucks. It sucks for Lions fans. You were this close. This close. Now, they have really put together a nice team through that trade, through the draft picks. I mean, look, there's a lot of storylines that I could really want to get into if we wanted to. Like, I believe Jared Goff now has 4 playoff wins before yesterday. Like, obviously they lost, but Purdy has what now? 4? Like, I know that would lead up to the Lamar discussion, which, I don't want to say I told you so, but Told you so. The Lamar situation is
Now, let's before we transition
yeah.
to that, because we're talking about it, Brock Purdy plays a pretty good game, but it's sort of the bridging transition to the next game. I think. Let me also make another prediction. I'm going to do another toot my own horn. You know I like to do it whenever I have the opportunity. I think a big topic of conversation in the next 2 weeks leading up to the Super Bowl is how Steve Spagnuolo has been underappreciated and where he lines up and the great defensive coordinators of all time. And look at this resume and look what we're this close to another Super Bowl. And then it'll be what? 5. And we have Brock Purdy looking medium cock Brock for most of the game yesterday against a Lions team whose defense did not show up by any means. Now, I will give credit where credit's due. Brock made some great throws at the end of the game and made some great runs at the end of the game. And, he certainly never backed down when they were down big, and he never got out of his end, and they stuck with it. But Steve Spagnuolo and the Chiefs defense is going to be a different thing to attack.
Oh yeah.
Than the Lions defense. The rhythm offenses of the Niners that rely on the same as the Lions, getting going, keeping it moving. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. You're going to have a lot of different looks. I mean, throughout the game, early in the game yesterday, even when the Lions are dominating, you're going, the fucking announcers won't stop talking about how Jared Goff struggles against the blitz. Surely you guys who have been fucking studying this team for a week and have you thought about blitzing him at any point? Will there be a blitz in this game? Niners just not getting to the quarterback with the 4 down linemen the way they usually do. Should we mix it up a little bit? Steve Spagnuolo ain't going to show you something to start the game and then be like, that's what you got. Here's 4 quarters of that. Have fun. So was there any part of Brock's performance that either makes you more confident in the Niners and or less confident in the Niners going into a Super Bowl against this Chiefs team?
I mean, I think, look, I think you know what you're going to get. I think at this point for me, he's, Purdy's, he's an upgrade over Jimmy G.
Yeah.
But I don't know how much of an upgrade, and that's not a knock. I mean, yesterday, coming back is huge. You're the quarterback on the team that comes back. Obviously, the whole team played well to make that comeback happen. But yeah, I mean, the defenses that Spags is going to throw at him. I mean, Baltimore did nothing. Nothing. Would they go 13 minutes without a first down? 13 minutes without a first down. That's insane.
All right. Since we transitioned in this game, I know Andy. Andy's got some Lamar Jackson thoughts. I know I'm going to be able to use your takes to trampoline into agreement with you, because I think we agree on a lot of this stuff. But let me just do a separate Lamar Jackson thought. I have said, as good as Lamar Jackson is, my true fear of Lamar Jackson is the long-term Lamar Jackson. What about when he's got more wear on the tires? What about when he's not able to run as much? What about when the injuries start to pile up? What about if he has to become a full pocket passer? What about blah, 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 blah? Great. Now, the Ravens have a great defense, and the Ravens run the ball, and Lamar Jackson's a big part of that. Were were the Ravens trying to give us a glimpse in the future? Their running backs touched the ball 6 times in the game. Lamar Jackson is no longer a part of this dominant run game that you guys have relied on the whole year. Now we're an exclusively passing offense, which my fear for the Ravens and Ravens fans and Lamar Jackson defenders is, what about when Lamar Jackson's reaches the point in his career when he has to pass and can't run and can't be a part of a dynamic running game with run pass options and all this stuff? And the Ravens are like, why don't we find out today? Well, fuck, he's not hurt yet. He's not old yet. Why are you guys doing this? Are you trying to prove some fucking point? Why didn't they run the ball? Why didn't they run the ball?
Yeah, I mean, the play calling definitely is questionable.
But also kind of proves the point. You put yourself into a situation where Lamar Jackson is a passer only, where Lamar Jackson is Joe Burrow or Patrick Mahomes or Brock Purdy or whatever, where it's, yeah, I could scramble if I need to, but I'm going to be out here passing. We're not running RPOs. We're not running me-on-designed runs. I'm passing the whole day. How'd that go for you guys? Spoiler, fucking bad.
So here's an interesting one I saw. I was reading an article in The Athletic. So Peyton Manning, and I'm sure some Lamar defenders are quick to point this out on Twitter or something. Peyton Manning and Lamar Jackson are both 2-4 after their first 6 playoff games. But they point out this is the big stat. So again, they're both 2-4. Peyton Manning's defense is ranked 29th out of 32 teams overall in those 6 losses. Or no, on those teams, right? They overall were giving up the 29th most points per game, where Lamar Jackson's defense second best. Like that, to me, and that's what I've been harping on, as you know, forever on Lamar. Dude, if you have a top defense, top 3 defense this year, top defense, and a top running game, which he obviously is a huge part of. Dude, if you can't win with a top defense, what are you going to win with? And I noticed a lot of the Lamar stands are pretty quiet. Where you at, RG3? Where you at, dude? Oh my God, he caught a ball, cool athletic play that he threw and it was tipped. Where are you at, man? Where are you Lamar guys? I've said it all along. You have to be able to, at some point in the playoffs, you're going to have to pass the ball. You are. You're going to have to make a pass.
And also, when you talk about you go Peyton Manning was the same player the whole time. Peyton Manning's the same player the whole time, and we don't want Peyton Manning to change. When we get a defense around Peyton Manning, we want him to be. Peyton Manning is the same player when he got into the league up until the crippled Broncos era, right?
Yeah, the last year or two.
Yeah. Lamar Jackson, you didn't trust him to throw the ball at all in his first playoff appearance. You're just running the Air Force offense. You are.
I know.
You're running the Air Force offense. Then you get into Lamar Jackson for a couple years where he's an MVP. He's a great passer. But also what makes it dynamic? He can take off and run. But in addition to that, he's part of this monster running game. Now we've transitioned into, we're playing the Chiefs. We're going head to head with Patrick Mahomes. We're going to run the ball 6 times with our running backs. We're not going to run the ball with Lamar Jackson basically at all. And we'll have a passing shootout. What? Can you guys pick a fucking lane here? And by the way, my criticism of Lamar Jackson has always been, in a vacuum, he's great. But I understand not wanting to give a guy 10 years who you're not sure if he can play the style that you want him to play long-term, or if the style that you want him to play long-term is even possible to be played long-term. In a vacuum, Lamar Jackson yesterday can win that game. You didn't even let him be Lamar Jackson. But now you're giving a preview of what Lamar Jackson looks like in the times of his potential contract that I'm afraid of. What about when Lamar Jackson just has to drop back and throw the ball? How's it going to work out then? Cam Newton fell off a fucking cliff and hit every fucking rock on the way down. And there's a dead, bruised body with a shitty hat on at the bottom of the cliff when we were done.
Well, I know you like to fan yourself a Michael Jordan truther, a Kobe Bryant truther, a Carmelo truther. I'd almost like to consider myself a Lamar truther. And to be honest, I think there's just so many things that are just said. To me, it's Mamba mentality. Like we're watching the game yesterday. We were all watching it here in my house, and I don't know if you caught this. They said the best player in the NFL this year. To the point that like Brittany was like, "Oh, he's the best player in the NFL," and I said, "No." I said, "No, he's not." I go. This is Mamba mentality. Just saying reckless things that are opinion. He's the best player, and I looked at her. And of course, she didn't follow the game. I said, it's funny that he's going to win the MVP, and I have no problem with that. But his stats in 2019, his first MVP, were way better. I just feel like they say these things about Lamar, like that's a prime example. It's just they're not like he had a way better year the first time he won the MVP. Guys, Lamar, his athletic ability, his running ability, his ability to escape the pocket are unlike anyone else. But I'll tell you this much, as a guy who obsesses over quarterbacks, loves watching quarterbacks, the two things for me yesterday that made me literally laugh when it comes to Lamar playing quarterback, one, that throw in the end zone with, I don't know, triple coverage. What was going on there?
Well, yeah.
And also, can we talk? I've never seen, Joe, you talk about this is the future. Dude, Lamar running a 2-minute drill is literally comedy. He doesn't know how to do it. Dude, you're in your 5th year. The amount of time it was taking them when they were down 17-7, and you got to go quick because you need 2 scores. I'm watching it and I'm going, why is it taking them so long? Does Lamar not know how to operate a 2-minute drill? Does he not know how to get?
I was tweeting it. I said the Ravens seem committed to losing this game 17-14. That they're going to punch in that final touchdown with 8 seconds left to go on the clock, and they'll be like, "We fucking did it." It's like, are you guys trying to like? I tweeted, whatever you do, guys, don't fucking hurry up. Take your fucking time. Like, what are you doing? I also just shared with you a tweet from Mitchell Schwartz that, I hate to say it's foreshadowing and I hate to say whatever, but like what was crazy about yesterday's game is why did you get away from what you did? And then it not only why did you get away from what you do so well in the running game and in using Lamar Jackson in the running game, but also it then doubles down on what we were saying. It's like, are you just trying to like preview? Are you trying to prove people wrong? Are you trying to preview that you made the right decision long term? Like, why is the game turned over to Lamar Jackson? You pass, you make it all happen. It just seemed crazy. Now, a lot of big plays in that game, the ball that's punched out of the goal line. At this point, if you're reaching for the goal line, kill yourself. The ball punched out of the goal line. I assumed you were watching that and be like, give them the ball to 20 and let them have another shot at it. But I don't fucking
knew
know.
That was coming.
The ball punched out of the goal line, but there's a missed call here. There's a missed call. There's plenty of missed calls throughout these fucking games.
Well, look, there's a lot of missed calls,
but also
the Ravens.
You threw the 3. You threw it into 3 guys. I don't care if one of those 3 defenders pulled out a gun and fucking shot Isaiah Likely in the head and he was dead before the ball was let go. You threw it into 3 guys. The 2 guys having a gunfight didn't really affect the play. The second guy might have caught it if the third guy didn't come and swoop in and caught it. It was a
Well,
terrible fucking throw.
Yeah, and also I'm obviously a big fan of John Harbaugh, dude. What is your team is reckless. The penalties, now there were some questionable calls for sure, but the unsportsmanlike conducts, a few of them on Patrick Mahomes, you're just thinking, what are you doing?
Yeah. It was crazy. I thought the same thing during the game. I was like, ooh, for you to say big issue in this game was the undisciplined play of a John Harbaugh coach team.
Right? Very surprising.
I mean, even the offsides, like you throw sort of a brilliant coaching strategy in there. Hey, we want to go offsides.
Yeah.
Like we give them the first down. We can't stop the clock. Like,
okay.
Smith
is doing a suplex.
Don't do it by
somebody.
karate kicking a guy in the throat.
I mean, dude, what it was to me, it's the Chiefs are in their head. Now, obviously the whole thing with Justin Tucker happened before the game starts, which I don't know what the real side of that story is with Travis Kelce and Patrick Mahomes versus the kicker, which is hilarious. I saw that. I was like, oh, Tucker's going to kick a 60-yarder and win the game. But the Ravens almost looked like they were trying to show Big Brother how tough they were.
Yeah.
While
Played
Big
right into
Brother
their fucking hands.
Well, exactly. While Big Brother dominated them. You knew and I knew, right? You watch that game, they go 3 and out, and then Chiefs go right down and score. You knew, you're like, oh boy. Lamar gonna have to play a game. And look, to go back to the defense thing, the Ravens gave up 0 points in the second half, guys.
Yeah.
0.
But unlike Dan Campbell, Andy Reid is like, hey man, momentum, time management, whatever. Like, I don't give a fuck about I'm not going to put ourselves in a position where we turn the ball over deep on our own end zone, trying to force a throw or trying to make something happen on these third down plays while they're not getting anything going on offense. Punt it to them. When they start showing signs of life, I'll start being desperate to make a fucking third down conversion. Dan Campbell wakes up in the morning desperate to make a third down conversion. Dan Campbell at this point is like, my second down calls are already strategizing that I'm going for it on fourth down. Andy Reid went into, all right, we run the ball, we punt to you. You fucking take some time off the clock. You fucking punt it to us. Like, time is our friend here because we're up multiple scores in this game. Dan Campbell's like, what's time? Why would I want to be up 3 scores? Who gives a fuck about time? Time doesn't bite you in the kneecaps. Lions do. Okay, well.
I want to play a call. We have somebody who, he actually have 2 calls. I'm going to play him back to back. He was at the game.
Which game?
Ravens game. So I believe Ravens fan. So he attended the game. There's a lot to break down in these calls.
Oh, Joe and Andy, just calling outside the AFC Championship game in Baltimore. Good game, but I just have to say, Patrick Mahomes is now the greatest quarterback of all time. We have now witnessed him winning games, playoff games, as a aired-out 50 touchdowns guy, Super Bowl MVP guy, and then we have now witnessed him going to a Super Bowl as a game manager. He has now game managed a game going to a Super Bowl. Brady could only game manage games going to Super Bowls. He could not do it airing it out 50 touchdowns to Randy Moss. So he is now the GOAT, in my opinion, and there's no discussion about it. I don't want to hear it. No more Brady talk. It is only Mahomes. Peace. Fuck the Chiefs. NFL holds the Ravens. And I'm going to go find a strip club. Bye.
Okay, part 2 of my other call. So I just want to say, so now we got to remember, the Ravens were trying to trade Lamar this last offseason. So
allegedly,
what are they going to do now? Because he was injured last year, and he had a playoff stinker this year. So where does that leave him with the Ravens? Because what's his ceiling now? Mahomes isn't going anywhere. Mahomes basically owns the AFC. So what's the ceiling with Lamar on your team? And what can they trade for him? My hot take is Lamar will not be on the Ravens to start the 2026 season. I just don't think the Ravens can win with him. And you guys might have been right. You can't win running with your legs. And I didn't believe it, but here it is. But okay, guys.
All right.
Well,
So
a couple things. First of all, I love I love fuck the Chiefs. The NFL hosts the Ravens. I'm going to find a strip club. That's a great fucking the trifecta and the call. Listen, I'm a LeBron James GOAT guy. I like the rings don't fucking matter to me. The whole thing. It's just I am a Patrick Mahomes GOAT guy. Like I am like just what he's been able to do. The thing about it is like, what if he retired? What if he goes to the Super Bowl and he wins and he retires? What if him and Travis and Taylor and Brittany and Jackson start their own Epstein Island? And they're just gone forever. Like he's the greatest quarterback we've ever seen, right?
So here's my thing on this. He like athletically, talent-wise, yeah. But this is where the conference, and it's like the LeBron, Jordan, or whatever. Then you start talking about accomplishments. Now, Brady still is going to have all the longevity of the numbers and the Super Bowls and the touchdown passes and the yards, all those things. I right now would not call Mahomes the GOAT. He's trending that way. And also, I want to defend Mahomes in this regard. I would not call that game managing. Now, did he play smart?
Right. Yeah, of course.
But here's the thing. Some of those plays we all saw. Some of those plays, now he was helped by some amazing catches, especially by Travis Kelce. Some of those plays avoiding pressure, making insane throws in insane windows. He's not game managing. Now, in your head, you might think, oh, they scored 0 points in the second half. Because he's smart, he knows I just can't turn the ball over.
Absolutely. I mean, I agree with you. I understand his point as opposed to him saying, well, like Brady, like Brady was fully game managing when he was starting his run and then got to the point. And listen, the Chiefs haven't won the Super Bowl yet. So let's not just like pencil them in that. We have 2 weeks to talk about that. But this certainly wasn't early Brady level game managing.
No.
Also, the year he won the MVP and threw 50 touchdowns, he didn't win the Super Bowl. Right?
Oh, correct. You're right. He did not.
So
well, and here's the thing. To get into the Lamar stuff. I don't know. I mean, he's thinking he's not going to be on the team in a couple years, but like I keep saying, I don't know what the answer is. Like, again, where are my Lamar stands? Where are my RG3s? If you say, dude, you have literally the number 1 seed, home field advantage, and the best defense, and you're putting up 10 points. Now, it's a team game, but he had 2 turnovers. Lamar in 6 playoff games now has 3 home playoff losses of the 4 playoff losses. 3 are at home. I believe I saw a stat. I haven't looked it up. I believe he has 11 turnovers in those 6 playoff games. He doesn't get it done. If I'm a Ravens fan, I'm terrified, truthfully. And our caller's right. Patrick Mahomes is going nowhere.
And I just brought up Cam Newton before, and I brought up the Cam Newton came up on this show when I said when I was comparing him to your aggressive Russell Wilson slurping, and I was like, yeah, with the best defense. I said if you give Cam Newton, who again never did I say he was better than Russell Wilson, but I say similar. If you give him the number 1 defense in the league, he'd go undefeated in the NFC. He went 15-1. He went to the Super Bowl and he lost. The difference was for Russ Wilson. The difference was for Cam Newton. Brady wasn't in their conference. They if they got to the Super Bowl, let's hope Brady's not there. But you didn't have to go through Brady and Peyton Manning on your way to the Super Bowl. You guys both got to go after him when you got there.
Yeah.
Lamar Jackson is in Patrick Mahomes' conference. You could catch Patrick Mahomes in the first round. You could catch him in the second round. You could catch him in the AFC Championship game. You could catch him. A lot of things. Chiefs weren't the 1 seed. You guys were the 1 seed.
And that's my point. You have everything in your favor. Everything.
You don't think that there's a potential Jim Harbaugh comes in next year and does this whole thing, and all of a sudden the Chiefs and Patrick Mahomes go full on, and Mahomes and Kelsey go full on Shaq and Kobe, where they're like, who gives a shit about the regular season? We stay healthy, we whatever. And the Chiefs are a wild card team, and now you suddenly have the Chiefs in your first home game after you get the 1 seed again, and now you lose in the divisional round. Like, the idea that it's gonna be you and Patrick Mahomes in the AFC Championship game every year is ludicrous. You have no idea in today's NFL where you're gonna catch him. And the thing was, I picked the Ravens to win yesterday in a close game because I knew Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs would keep that game close. There's no chance I was betting on them once that shit went up to 4. But you essentially, like, I've never felt proven more right by you guys going, we're going to abandon who Lamar Jackson is and make him who everyone is afraid he's not going to be able to be one day. The clip I sent you, not able to run away from guys to the point where it goes for a touchdown.
I thought about that on that play where he breaks away and he doesn't take it to the house. I thought about that watching. I go, man, I can't believe they caught up to him.
That's the athleticism. It's like, you're not going to be the fastest guy in the league your whole career if you're playing every snap. Maybe take 2 years off and rest in jail like Mike Vick, and you can come back and be a backup for a while, and then every time you take the field, you're still the fastest guy out there. But unless you're that, like, dude, wear and tear. And all of a sudden, the Ravens are like, who gives a shit? He could just be a pass-only quarterback. How the fuck did that go for you guys?
Yeah. Well, he's made strides in his passing, but he hadn't made enough. He hasn't made enough. What again is concerning if you're a Ravens fan, it's that he laid an egg yesterday, guys. It wasn't like, oh, he played well, he lost a tough game.
It wasn't 34-31.
No. It was 2 bad turnovers, sacked way too many times.
Not fast on the 2-minute drill, not fast on the 4-minute drill, not fast on the 8-minute drill.
I'm gonna say it. Nobody says it. I think these moments are too big for him. They are, in my opinion. They're too big for him. Prove me wrong, dude.
And I did the mock tweet yesterday, but weirdly, all the tweets from week 15 and week 16, the Falcons must be killing themselves that they didn't go after Lamar Jackson this offseason. Must be killing themselves. Yeah, I bet you the Falcons woke up yesterday, fucking watched that football game, and were like, I can't believe we didn't trade 11 first-rounders to get that guy who just threw the ball into triple coverage after running an 8-minute drill.
And that's why I'm saying I think these moments are too big for him. He looks great on, Sunday or Monday Night Football against the Niners, regular season. Oh, man.
You want to talk about weird comparisons? Somebody who's like I don't know if we have any of these guys. Are any of our dirtballs like psycho tape breakdown all 11 guys? Because if you are, you want to talk about things that gave me the chills because it was like a deja vu. A quarterback that we might think was in a moment that was too big for him, going against a Steve Spagnuolo defense with a chance at the fucking, at home, put the all 11 tape of Tony Romo throwing a pick to R.W. McQuarters and the tape of Lamar Jackson throwing into triple coverage. Lay those on top of each other. Or do we live in a simulation? You want to see something that looks oddly similar? RW McQuarters against Tony Romo and Lamar Jackson in his triple coverage. Steve Spagnuolo defenses. Steve Spagnuolo's like, oh, we're going to bait you into throwing, all right. Throw it. In fact, throw it here. Throw it here into the middle of the end zone. No one will be there. Just kidding. Everyone's there.
And look, to bring it back to the earlier game, let's do a little Brock Purdy, Lamar Jackson. I don't think the moment's too big for Brock. That's the difference. Again, same thing. Number 1 seed, home, team behind. Dude, he made plays when he had to. That's the difference. In fact, I know they're like, man, Ruther's really landing on. Dude, there's a million quarterbacks. There's a lot, not a million. There's a lot of quarterbacks I'd rather have the game on the line than Lamar. Sorry, guys. Sorry. And I know people are going to say, fuck, you're going to name quarterbacks that haven't even won a playoff game. Dude, I want guys who can make a pass in a tight window and also know how to operate a 2-minute drill. Here's a little, not a proposal. Here's a
hypothetical.
Little hypothetical. That's what I'm looking for. We got the Harbaugh brothers. One's going to be coaching Justin Herbert. One coaches Lamar Jackson. Let's go back to 2026 from our caller. By 2026, who has more playoff wins? Justin Herbert or Lamar Jackson? Lamar has a two-game lead on him.
Yeah. I'm going to say Justin Herbert or even. But 2026, I love that he said 2026 as well. So next season is technically 2024, correct?
So you have 2 more seasons.
I don't even think that's like, he was like hot take. I'm like, hot take. I said Russell Wilson wouldn't be the quarterback in like 2017 or some shit like that. Like 2026, the chances of them moving on 2020, if he doesn't get it done in 2 more, if he doesn't win a Super Bowl in 2024 or 2025, it's almost a guarantee he's not the quarterback in 2026.
You know the real winner of all this? You know who the real winner is? Joe Flacco. I think you guys missed Joe Flacco in those playoff runs, huh? Cool Joe, right? Just saying. There is something about.
And you know what the difference also? Joe Flacco had some similar fucking type of games found himself in the similar type of situations. When Joe Flacco threw those deep balls, he didn't miss by 8 yards. Dude, like that, you want to talk about, I know we gave props to Jared Goff before. Jared Goff also had a couple misses yesterday. Late in the game, you're like, oh, it's a couple of balls over some guys' heads. They got into the point of the game yesterday where Lamar Jackson was like, it was just the heave the ball down the field thing. He was overthrowing guys by 10 yards.
Yeah.
And then it's, the refs are screwing us. Why? Because they're not calling hand fighting on a ball that you overthrew. Like, sorry, dude, we're not calling hand fighting when you miss a guy by 10 yards.
Yeah, I had no problem with that. The hand fighting is going to happen, but you got to have a better pass. Then maybe you'll get the call. I think he looks lost in a game like that. And just Mahomes is so much better. He really is. And most people would know that, but from some of the things you see online, the Lamar Jackson stands are loyal and devout. I mean, I was just looking. We were getting some hate last week. You know, we did I think there was a YouTube video titled "Lamar Jackson is overrated" before the season started. Everybody was coming. Yeah, really? How's this look now? It looks fucking great, dude. That's how it looks. Like, I saw somebody post a great tweet. They're like, wait, so we all thought Lamar Jackson was that guy because he beat a team that won 3 games last year in a first-round playoff game at home? Like, not to take anything away from CJ Stroud and the Texans, but you know, and that conference is just so stacked, man. If Burrow stays healthy, your own division is not easy. The Browns aren't going anywhere as far as defensively.
I'm not so quick. I'm not so quick to like be high on the Cleveland Browns having some consistency.
I'm not so high, but my point is like it's a tough conference. Justin Herbert's finally getting a coach. You got Patrick Mahomes to deal with. You Josh Allen, who, is what he is. Like, it's a tough conference. Is all I'm saying.
In a vacuum, Lamar Jackson is great, but now he's a year older. He got through the whole season without getting hurt. So I'd love to know the Vegas line on Lamar Jackson starts 17 football games next year. This is not me being critical of him being injury prone or anything like that. I'm talking about what would the Vegas line be on Lamar Jackson after the career he's had, starting 34 straight football games? Or he didn't start in week 17, 18 this year because he was blah, 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 but because they were the 1 seed.
Yeah.
But also, why the fuck didn't you guys run the fucking ball?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know why.
The Niners didn't give up running the football down fucking 17 points. You guys abandoned running the football down 7? Oh, I guess everybody's been super critical of like, what will Lamar be when he has to be fucking Patrick Mahomes? I guess we'll find out today.
And you know what? The Chiefs receivers finally showed up. They had some nice catches.
Seems like they found the 3 guys that they could trust.
Kelsey had a hell of a game. I like all the shit talking personally. Lots of shit talking in that game. Lots of shit talking.
Did you like him running back the jabroni line post game?
I didn't see that.
Yeah.
I'll be honest.
I mean, it's like, listen, fucking. This is like Taylor Swift only doing songs about her ex-boyfriends. Like, mix it up a little, Travis.
I couldn't. It was tough. I didn't watch too much of the post game. I was also like, oh, how much of her are they going to show that I don't want to deal with?
Yeah.
Now we're going to get a lot of her at the Super Bowl, I'm sure.
Well, fun fact. She has a show the night before in Japan.
I saw that.
Now, a lot of people, I saw somebody with a funny tweet. She's going to have to buy herself an F-14 fighter jet to fly home in that one. She doesn't give a fuck.
That's funny.
I think Taylor's smarter than that. If I know Taylor Swift, what she's going to do is she's going to buy 50 747s and put the entire crowd on jets and fly them to Vegas, where she'll be doing Tokyo remote. You all of you guys come to Vegas and I'll do your show there. Why would I, a single person, worry about flying back quickly when I can just kill everything on the planet and fly all of you guys to Vegas?
Lines up.
Maybe puts the entire stadium that you were supposed to perform in Vegas, breaks it down piece by piece, puts it on trucks, takes it there, rebuilds it in Vegas. And then they're like, she gave her fucking truck drivers overtime. And they're like, yeah, they had to drive from Tokyo.
It'll be an interesting game. Niners slight favorites. I don't know how I feel about that.
I said yesterday, I thought the game opened at Niners -3. And I said I thought it opened at Niners -3 because they were going to count on some Chiefs betting. and that it comes down. Andy, I've like totally swapped. I mean, we have a lot of time to come to see how this Super Bowl line moves and all the things leading up to it. I've kind of been a Niners stan the whole season. I never got off the ship. I think it's the Chiefs in the Super Bowl.
Well, you know why I'm leaning more towards that as well.
Spags versus Brock.
Well, yeah, and also the Niners defense. They didn't look good against the Packers either, man. To me, that's a game they should have lost as well.
Now, the Chiefs don't run the ball nearly as well as either of those two teams.
True.
But they run it okay.
Well, you know something I saw some articles about which made sense. These final four teams. The one thing they all have in common, they all have good tight ends too, man.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, Mark Andrews got hurt, but like Isaiah Likely stepped in and played really well. Like the importance of a good tight end, a reliable tight end, the modern day quarterback.
How about this? I'll do you one better. Mark Andrews and Likely. You got Kelsey and the other guy making plays, whose fucking name I don't know.
Watson?
Yeah, Watson, right. You've got fucking the Niners with Kittle and the fucking
Juszczyk
fucking fullback tight end and catching passes, tippy-toeing the sideline, raising up. Those guys who line up, on the edge of the down lineman and can go out there and make plays. That's just huge in today's NFL. Slipping guys out after a chip block, slipping guys into space of a zone. Yeah, all of those teams do that really, really, really well. It's crazy. Like I've wavered on so many things, but it was just like, well, I picked Niners Chiefs in the Super Bowl. And in the end, I tried not to waver on that in the playoffs. I did. But here we are. And in the end, I said, it's not fun. But as I said yesterday, when you go to the horse track, it's fun to bet long shots, but only if they win. I said Chiefs over Niners. It's not fun. It's kind of boring. But here we are. I think it's Chiefs over Niners in the Super Bowl.
I think what is
Coach,
that?
quarterback, defense.
I think Spags, what's the number I saw? He's like 17-4 in the playoffs as a defensive coordinator. I mean, that was a great game plan yesterday. I mean, this talk about legacy, yo. If Brock Purdy could win this game, right?
Oh, of course.
Yeah, there'll be some nice lead up time for this. How crazy is Vegas going to be?
Pretty
Vegas
crazy.
in the Super Bowl.
Can I let me say one other thing about this Super Bowl, especially because it's happening in Vegas and all the things. Dude, the worst take ever is that like this Super Bowl matchup sucks. Like what a horrible. I wanted Ravens Lions. All right, cool. Why? I don't know. It's just like I've already seen it. Oh, you already seen Patrick Mahomes? Yeah, I like watching Patrick Mahomes. Oh, the Niners, like all of the weapons and the playmakers on defense and the history of that franchise. You really wanted the Lions team you just learned the names of, and you wanted to see Lamar Jackson get his opportunity to run the option in the Super Bowl? Like, no, this is just a worse matchup. This does nothing for me.
I haven't really seen that, but that's a shit take. I mean, I would have any Super Bowl I would have enjoyed.
I'm not a big college basketball guy, as you know, but back in the day, when you're a high school kid and you're a college kid, you're just sports obsessed. You watch that shit all the time. I'm not a Duke fan. I'm not a North Carolina fan. But if it's Duke UNC in the fucking final game or playing each other in the Final Four, it's interesting. It's fun.
Yeah, for
What's
sure.
the guy's name? Jeff Goff on the Lions? I wanted to see him in the Super Bowl. I like Jeff. Mike Campbell, the guy from REM, he coaches the Lions now. That's fun. Fun stories don't win fucking Super Bowls. Good football teams do.
It really is remarkable if the Chiefs are back. And if you look at where they started offensively to now.
Yeah.
Doing it with guys.
They've invested in the defense the last couple of years. They've had, it's very similar to the Patriots. Like they get these guys and they're like, ooh, we can't let this guy go. So if we got to pay him, now we shift this way. Right.
It is similar to the Patriots. I was thinking that
too. By the way, on the boning of the Ravens by the refs call, not a whole lot of talk about the karate kick to the dick that happened in the end zone for the Ravens yesterday, which probably should have been a safety. The Kung Fu Pandaing of Jones.
The Ravens lost. You guys let Ray Lewis make it about him as always, doing his stupid dance. Ray has to always make it about Ray. When did
unless it was a murder, and then he was like, I wasn't involved.
When was the Ray Lewis statue put in? Let me look this up. Interesting. Quick little find by me. Okay, they put a statue up in 2014. Just saying, they haven't made it to the Super Bowl since. Maybe you don't put a statue above a two-time murder, allegedly. I'm just saying.
I mean, to be fair, he's not two-time murderer. He was a double murderer. That's different. He didn't have it was not separate incidents.
I was trying to play off the two-time Super Bowl champ.
Yeah.
That's what I was trying to do. Two-time murderer.
He didn't go back-to-back murders.
I'm just saying, Ray and his team have not made it back to the Super Bowl since they put a statue of him up. Side note, I don't know if you know this, Joe, but this is officially 10 years of Dirty Sports. Not to the date, but it was the championship game recaps was our first episode.
Wow. There you go. This is the 10th anniversary episode of the Super Bowl. Of the Dirty Sports, 10th anniversary.
Yeah, like
our
I said,
first episode was championship game recaps in 2014. Wow.
Yeah.
What a time to start this podcast. We weren't like, should we wait till after the Super Bowl? Start right now.
Let's do it. That was the infamous Richard Sherman, Aaron Andrews interview
I remember that episode. I remember recording that episode at your place.
The Niners, Seahawks NFC Championship, and then I don't remember who the Broncos played. They played the Colts?
I don't remember.
Or was it the Patriots? Regardless. Yeah. 10 years ago. The old episode numero uno.
Lot less gray in these beards back then, Andy.
Oh, yeah. A lot less gray. I mean, 10 years ago. Woo. A lot has changed. But I thought
you didn't even have decorations on your wall that included framing 10 years ago. Now you have a daughter. You had old school. You had old school like sticky tack holding up fucking loose pieces of paper on your wall.
I did. It's amazing. It's amazing how long I lived like that. I was in my 30s. I was in my 30s living like a college kid.
You had like a plastic nightstand. It's like Tupperware for a nightstand. You had like something you keep your tools in the garage, in the shed.
I know I've said this, but I'll say it's amazing that like anytime I brought a girl back, she didn't just walk right out. Like, nah, I can't. Nah, sorry, man. I can't. Not this. You're like a child.
She's like, "Do you need to get something out of the fucking janitor's room before we go to your place?"
The old days. But yeah, man, 10 years. And I was reminded of that. Fox was showing that they just completed 30 years of NFL on Fox, and they were showing some of the highlights, and they showed that Richard Sherman, Aaron Andrews epic clip.
You finally, your boy Tony Romo yesterday finally got me. I know you've hated Tony Romo for a while.
Have you followed what's going on with him right now?
No.
And I don't know if this is the New York Post trying to it might just be the New York Post trying to drum up drama. They're saying like it's not going well.
Because too much criticism online?
Yeah, there was a big article last week just saying that it's obvious him and Nance just don't gel that well. And it was saying they got into such a great start and everybody loved his predictions, and now everybody just turned. All those people are like, the article was saying like Buck and Aikman work, man, and people view it like these guys are friends.
Yeah.
Or like whether they are or they aren't.
I gotta tell you, Jim, this is the game right here. It all comes down to this play. Tony, this is the opening kickoff. I'm just saying, man, the Chiefs get this back out past the 30. I think the Ravens are dead in the water there, Jim. How many times did he call yesterday's game?
He said
he said in the medic.
He said in the third quarter yesterday, when it was still 17-7. Third quarter. I think this is a
game right here, Jim.
Yeah, this is a must drive for the Ravens.
Now, listen, I actually said we were making fun of him, and I said, maybe he's kind of right, but also, like, why are we doing this? And then he, like, backed off it for the rest of the game, and then he jumped back in. It's just like, Tony, like, the thing is, I really liked him when he started. It's like, it's almost like the Manning cast. It's like, guys, it worked. Like, I don't need Snoop Dogg predicting the plays from the goal line. I want you guys talking. Oh, put him up on the board. He said it was going to be a run dizzle. And he was right.
Brady's supposed to start next year. You know that?
Yeah. He's supposed to take over for Olsen, right?
And I like Olsen.
Yeah.
I think they work well enough, Olsen and Burkhardt.
Yeah.
Olsen was questioning Dan Campbell yesterday in like a polite, nice commentator way. I will be curious how Tom Brady is in the booth.
Why are you even doing that for Tom Brady? But
this guy, it was like his people can't stop working. They want to do something. That's what it is. They want to do something.
Not me. We've reached 1,000 episodes in 10 years. We're not doing the Super Bowl. Well, Andy and I will pick the game.
Which, by the way, is going to be an interesting pick because I got the Detroit Lions game on you.
I know. So you're up 2.
Is that how we? So basically,
right?
You better hope I have to pick differently than you.
I know. We're gonna have to do an inaugural coin toss to see who gets picked first.
I'm not going to change my pick. Oh, you're saying you might. You're going to have to.
I might have to. But I think win the game.
Yeah, well, like I said, I think we're both leaning that way. Chiefs right now, but again, a lot can happen next couple weeks. But man, Spags was the 2007 Giants. He wasn't the second one.
No, he's got 3 Super Bowl titles as a defensive coordinator.
Okay.
Yeah, he wasn't the second one with the Giants because he that's when he got a head coaching job. He had to go to St. Louis, poor guy. Then Sean Payton then he was thrown under the bus like many a Sean Payton employee. How's swapping out Steve Spagnuolo for Rex Ryan's brother going for you, bro?
Forgot about that.
Well, I mean, I guess it doesn't seem like that bad a decision now that Rob Ryan is the defensive coordinator for the Niners. Oh no, just kidding. Rob Ryan is now, I don't know, robbing donut shops. Like, what the fuck is Rob Ryan?
Can we keep it short today, man?
Sure. Great talking to you. Bye.
Little under the weather.
Yeah, same.
So, be nice to wrap this up. We talked our championship game stuff probably around the same amount of time we did the first ever episode, by the way.
Yeah. Those were only hour shows back in the day.
The old back in the day. Yeah.
Well, I'm up in Lake Tahoe. Every time I'm up here, I tell the Dirtballs the same thing, which is McDuff's Pub is the best pub west of the Mississippi. You guys got to come here. The people here are so great. Every time I come here, I just don't want to leave. So if you're ever in South Lake Tahoe or the State Line, Nevada area, come to McDuff's Pub. Best pub. My favorite pub in the whole world. I might go eat there on my way out. JoePrano.com for shows, at Joe Prano on Instagram. I've got a bunch of stuff coming up. We're doing Goat Hill Park, a night of stand-up comedy on a golf course, February 9th, Friday, February 9th. That link will be up in my Instagram bio within minutes of the show ending. We've got a night of sports comedy at the Hollywood Improv on February 29th, Leap Day. That link will also be up in my Instagram bio within minutes of the show ending. I'm coming back to New York, doing New York Comedy Club Stamford, April 25th. And got a bunch of shows coming up, Phoenix, Utah, Vegas, et cetera, all at joeprano.com. But if you're in San Diego, if you're in and around LA, or if you're in New York, come see some of those shows.
Something I just saw right now, real quick, last minute.
Ooh, do we finally catch a breaking one?
I mean, it's nothing major. Per report, Vikings QB Kirk Cousins is looking for $90 million guaranteed for 2 years to re-sign with the team.
I hope the Vikings do it. Give him his money. Pay the man his money. They will not factor in whatsoever to our NFL season preview next year when it comes to talking about AFC and NFC championship games. So, yeah, go give Kirk the money.
Here's a wild thing for you. Who do you have a better shot of winning yesterday's game? Kirk or Lamar? No, let me put it this way. If you give Kirk Cousins the number 1 ranked running game and the number 1 ranked defense, I'm gonna go on. I'm gonna say this. I think Kirk Cousins wins more playoff games with the number 1 running and defense than Lamar.
I don't know, because here's 2 things. First of all, I would say, listen, if you make Lamar Jackson play a Kirk Cousins style game instead of letting Lamar Jackson play a Lamar Jackson style game, that maybe therefore Kirk Cousins would be better suited to do that. But counterpoint, Chiefs have a good defense. Chiefs got to Lamar Jackson a couple times. The chances if you put Kirk Cousins on that Ravens team yesterday and play that game 10 times, in 6 of them, Kirk gets sacked 7 times, throws 4 picks, has a fucking debacle game. Like, let's not drag Lamar Jackson down to the Kirk Cousins level of playing a Super Bowl quality defense, because Kirk Cousins has never had to deal with that, because Kirk Cousins made it out of the first round fucking once.
Okay, fair point. All right, guys, we're gonna wrap it up. Did you hear that?
No.
Check on Roscoe. Poor guy, losing his sight. I think he just ran into a bunch of kids' pots and pan toys.
That's a movie.
This is my
Going the
life.
full Kool-Aid man.
I don't know. Poor guy. All right, guys, that's our show. We'll be back on Thursday. Have a great week. And as always, stay dirty.